Welcome to Tech Blueprint, a window that lets you know the latest technology news in the world. Recently, the United States is still negotiating with many countries on tariffs. After reaching a 15% tariff agreement with Japan, it recently reached a 15% tariff agreement with the European Union. At the same time, news of semiconductor tariffs has also come. In an interview with the media, U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick revealed that the results of the 232 investigation launched against the chip industry will be announced within 2 weeks. This also means that the tariffs on semiconductors mentioned by Trump before are really coming. On April 14 this year, the Bureau of Industry and Security of the U.S. Department of Commerce announced that it would launch a national security investigation on imported semiconductors, semiconductor equipment, and their derivatives based on the power granted by Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. At that time, when the United States announced the imposition of tariffs on other countries in the world, the initiation of this investigation must be related to tariffs. According to industry insiders, the United States launched a chip industry security investigation with a high probability to prepare for the next semiconductor tariff increase. Now, more than 3 months have passed. The investigation has ended, and it is now certain that the United States will soon announce the results of the investigation. So, what will be the tariff rate imposed by the United States on semiconductors? According to Trump's previous public statements, the tariff rate may be as high as 25% to 100%. And the new rules do not rule out imposing tariffs on the place of wafer manufacturing as the source of origin. If this is true, the tax rate may be unimaginable, because even the lowest 25% is not a small amount. Once it is really implemented, it will have a very serious impact on Intel, Micron, TSMC, Samsung and other U.S. wafer manufacturers, as well as Apple, Nvidia, Qualcomm, MediaTek, and other U.S. chip design manufacturers that rely on external wafer foundry. You must know that in recent years, the United States has promoted the outsourcing of manufacturing, and the local production capacity of chip manufacturing has dropped from 37% of the world to about 10% today. Even in recent years, the United States has continuously promoted the return of the chip manufacturing industry, but the effect is not great. Although local U.S. manufacturers such as Intel and Micron have announced the construction of factories, and foreign wafer manufacturers such as TSMC and Samsung have also invested in the United States to build factories, many manufacturing equipment and materials need to be imported, and the imposition of tariffs must increase costs. Now, Intel is in a very bad situation and has decided to slow down the progress of its U.S. factories. Further tariffs will exacerbate Intel's difficulties. Therefore, shortly after the United States launched a security investigation into the chip industry, Intel, Micron and other manufacturers took action and submitted opinions to the Bureau of Industry and Security of the U.S. Department of Commerce, suggesting that the Trump administration exempt the tariffs on imported semiconductor materials and equipment. There are also foreign wafer manufacturers such as TSMC and Samsung who have submitted suggestions, hoping that Trump will be cautious about semiconductor tariffs. In particular, TSMC has submitted a detailed opinion letter, which puts forward 6 key opinions, suggesting that the U.S. government can exempt existing semiconductor investments, avoid taxing terminal products, extend the investment credit for advanced manufacturing, etc. At the same time, U.S. chip design manufacturers such as Qualcomm, Apple, and Nvidia have also put forward their own opinions and warned the Trump administration that once the United States implements a wide range of semiconductor tariffs, it may cause serious accidental damage to the U.S. semiconductor industry. Although TSMC's first phase of 4 nanometers wafer fabs in the United States has begun mass production, AMD and Nvidia have placed orders. But after all, the production capacity of the U.S. plant is limited, and they still need to rely on TSMC's foundry capacity in Taiwan province of China. And AMD has publicly stated that TSMC's foundry price in the U.S. plant is 20% higher than that in Taiwan, and it may be higher after the tax increase. The U.S. Semiconductor Industry Association, SIA, also submitted opinions to the Bureau of Industry and Security of the U.S. Department of Commerce. The total cost of manufacturing and operating semiconductor wafer fabs in the United States is already 30 to 50% higher than that in Asia. If semiconductor tariffs are imposed, the cost will be even higher. Because the United States is heavily dependent on the global supply chain for equipment and materials, about 60% of them lack sufficient local supply in the United States. The U.S. think tank also stated that the tax on semiconductors will not only cause the United States to lose $165 billion in net tax revenue a year, but will also have an impact on important industries such as AI, increase the cost of AI model training, and weaken the competitiveness of the U.S. AI field. Because the current competition in AI is very fierce, if the development of AI in the United States is affected, and at the same time the mainland continues to subsidize and accelerate the AI and semiconductor industries, Chinese companies will quickly improve their AI capabilities and have the opportunity to gain a dominant position. Although many companies and institutions have given opinions to the U.S. Department of Commerce, it is highly unlikely that they will be adopted because the results of the investigation will be announced soon, and there is no suspense about semiconductor tariffs. In this regard, some foreign media said that the U.S. semiconductor tax is coming.